I dream of painting, and then I paint my dream.
Welcome to Ambition Nation, where barriers are broken and goals are met. On today's episode, we have the honor of having Jamal Michael DeJohn, a famous painter that paints white painting only. Originally from the West, he made his way to Nova Scotia and then came to Montreal to pursue his hobby, which is a painter. Welcome to Ambition Nation.
Thank you for having me here.
So tell us a little bit about this painter inside of you that arise.
Well, let's start off with the, I'm a deaf artist, and I chose to do white because, I tried color before and it just doesn't work for me.
Why doesn't it work for you?
I don't know, it just felt like, I tried it and I struggled with it and I got frustrated. I didn't know what to do, and a lot of artists have worked with color and I wanted to be different. I wanted to be different, but at the same time, when I'm painting, and all of my stuff that I'm doing makes sense and that I connect with. So I got really connected with white. It spoke to me. It told me what to do. It's like I'm having a conversation with them, with the white, with the color, with the paint. I'm not even sure if paint is the color. If white is a color, but there's form, there's action, there's motion, there's everything, and it just makes me go wow. It just makes me want to do more, and there's new to discover. There's more. There's a variety of things you can do with white that I'm willing to find out what it is.
Do you think that the number one factor that connects you to white painting rather than color painting, which you used to paint in the past, correct, is the fact that you are impaired?
Yes, I'm completely deaf on this side of my ear, and I wear hearing aid on this side. And
are you born deaf?
I was born deaf. I started out with 2 hearing aids. Actually I was born deaf, and the way I found out that I was deaf was my mom. She tried to speak to me, she tried to talk to me, and I was totally quiet. And there's evidence by my sister. She's the loud one, we're twins, and she just cries and cries, and my mom was kind of confused about that. She's like, how come you're crying and you're not? And so she kept screaming at me and wondering, and then the doctor said, well, I'm deaf.
Okay.
And then from there on till 5 or 6 years old, I had scarlet fever, which is like your fever goes high, it goes way above 100.
How long did that end? How long did you have scarlet fever for?
3 months. I was in the hospital for 3 months. I spent a good long time in the hospital. They actually didn't know what was wrong with me. I just went to the hospital because I was very sick. And until they found out, then they had to cure me really, really fast. I was in the bathtub with cold water to keep the temperature down. I was actually supposed to be dead. That's what my mom told me.
You're lucky to be here.
I'm very blessed to be alive.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So scarlet fever, did it improve your hearing?
No, actually it got worse.
It got worse afterwards?
Yes.
Okay.
After maybe 2 months being in the hospital, I was too young to even notice it, but my mom told me that my hearing got worse, and the hearing aid on this side was no use anymore. It was completely gone, completely wiped it out, and I was only dependent on one side of my ear. But it didn't stop me. I just kept on going, but you adapt through life, and now I can read lips very well. I can see body language, and so far so good.
So let's talk about this body language that you can see very well. Since you're hearing impaired, do you put a lot of your focus on understanding people, and therefore the reason why you have your bachelor's in psychology? Is it fair to assume?
I do have a bachelor in psychology, and I did like it, but then I grew out of it because I wasn't really focused. It wasn't
your niche.
Yeah, there was nothing there. So I graduated from it because it's good to have a degree. Then I realized I got to go back to school. I went back to school because I'm realizing that I am an artist, and I want to stand by it and pursue it and keep it going and make my dreams come true.
Absolutely, that's a great thing to pursue.
Yes, it is.
Bring me back to when you noticed the first time that you were an artist. When did you know?
Well, psychology, I was doing a lot of drawing and
Instead of studying?
instead of studying. I was really
Bad
focusing.
student.
Exactly. And so because of that, the more I draw, the more I realize this is it. This is where I want to be. And it was just natural. And so I decided to go back to school.
In fine arts.
I went back to school in fine arts in Concordia University in Montreal. And I just kept on going from there. But during those times, man, I was really frustrated. Just because I didn't know what I wanted to paint. I didn't know which material I wanted to work with. Because it's acrylic, it's oil, I didn't know. But oil is what really got to me, and white got to me. But I didn't find out that until after I graduated. What kind of artist I was.
Did you have frustration prior to that moment? So you had frustration afterwards, trying to decide whether you were going to use acrylic, oil, what kind of material you were going to use. But did you ever have this frustration because you didn't know what you were going to do for the rest of your life?
Right.
Or facing the decision that being an artist is a hard career?
Absolutely, it's very, very challenging, and but it doesn't. It's scary, but it doesn't scare me because I feel so comfortable with it. And if you're comfortable with something that you want to do in life, continue with it, because the only way it can't go backward. You can't go backwards. You can only go forward.
Absolutely.
And when you keep on going with your dream, you master it. And when you master it, people just look at it and they get inspired by what you do, and they like what you do, and they like what they see, and they want to buy your work, and they want to have your work in your home, in their home. So I stuck to it.
So do you use body movement to understand people and predict their movement or what they're going to say, correct?
Well, yeah, you can look at their body language, and you can tell sometimes how the person's going to react like minutes later before it happens. Well, in my experience, I don't know about anybody else's, but in my case, and that's what I wanted to teach in my paintings. I wanted to show people the kind of movements that you can see, even though there's no color. So, and my paintings are all just white, and it's form, shape, and it's motion, and I find it very interesting to work with the white because it's limitless. You can do so much more with it. People don't realize that, but I realized it. I'm going to keep on going until I get bored or something. But I don't think I'll ever get bored because I love what I'm doing.
Bring me to that initial moment where you realized that color was not going to do it. Were you going to just drop painting altogether? Or were you inspired by somebody that all of a sudden painted white?
That's a very good question. I did a lot of volunteer work actually, and there was a lot of inspiration in there that got me going. And I worked with children, disabled children, and I was an art assistant teacher. So I was teaching other children how to draw and how to paint. And I saw one student who could not move very well, but was still able to paint. And I was fascinated by it, thinking, you know what? That was inspiring enough for me to keep on going and never stop until I drop.
Regardless of the naysayers.
Regardless, exactly.
Did you encounter a lot of naysayers? People that didn't think that it was a solid enough career to support you?
I did have a few conversations with a few people who would say, why do you want to take fine arts? I mean, how are you going to make out of it? You're not going to make money out of it. But that doesn't stop me, because if you're confident and know that your work will get somewhere, then you shouldn't be scared at all. You have no reason to be scared.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's just about...
Do you believe in yourself, in your
just
work?
keep believing in yourself, and don't ever stop. Because once you stop, you will stall, and you'll forget what you're doing, and you'll detour into another direction. But I try to maintain my momentum. I just keep on going. I just try to stick to my rhythm.
Would you say it's the key to succeeding in arts? It's being consistent and keeping that momentum going?
Absolutely.
Bring me back to what you said initially. I think you just said that you were working with kids with disabilities, correct?
That's right.
Specifically, one kid that was impaired
Yep.
physically. Why did this kid inspire you more than the others?
Just because he couldn't move, like he really could not move. He was in a wheelchair, and he had little mobility in his arms, but it didn't stop him from drawing. He did it anyway, and the images that he created were like from his imagination, but it just looked very interesting of how he was able to do it with his arms and his hands, and that tells me that you can do anything, regardless of what disability you have. It doesn't stop anybody. We're strong people, and we have a strong mind, and we just gotta learn to stay strong and cope with the difficulties that we have in life, and just proceed forward.
Would you say that it's that inspired you or gives you more creativity in your own work?
It gave me a motivation, because before I met him, I was more afraid.
On the verge, one
an
step
artist.
in.
Yes, if I want to step in, because I still have my art psychology degree, and I could still do some volunteer work or whatever. But no, I'm gonna keep on going, and it's because of him, and I thank him for it.
How many paintings have you painted so far?
Well, my very first painting that I worked with was this one right here, and counting the numbers, I'm guessing I've gone up to 15, maybe a little more, and they're all very different. They're all very different with action. There's some portraits. I did a portrait. I did a dancer. I did a dancer who dances.
I saw that
ballet
painting.
dancer.
Beautiful.
Yeah. If you can check out my website, you can see all the paintings on there at www.jamaldijon.com, and you can leave some feedback. Send me an email, critique, hate it, love it. I want to hear it all, because I want to learn from what people had to say.
That's great. Now, how long does one painting take you?
That all depends on what I'm painting.
Okay.
But in the painting process, I don't think I just do it. There's no plan of what I'm painting. It's just, you just pour the paint on there and let the paint speak to you, and eventually it comes. Eventually you see something happening, and you just play around with it until it comes out to be beautiful.
So you're not inspired by the events that are happening in your life? It's really, you just bring the canvas out and you just
Well, absolutely.
start
There's a lot
painting.
more to it, I mean, during the painting process, I listen to music, and the music is, I just have it really loud because I don't hear it very well, but that's a good thing, because I feel vibration,
That's what I was going to ask.
and the vibration gets into me and it comes out onto my paintings, and that's what you see on the paintings. You see the vibration, you see the motion, so there's like a connection between music and painting in my work.
So you can't hear the actual words in the song, but you could actually feel the vibrations in the ground.
That's right.
Is that right?
My music, I can't hear the words specifically. I maybe hear one or two. I'm like, yeah, I got that one. But no, it's just to feel the waves, the sound waves, the motion, the vibration just tickles my bones, and it just wiggles onto the canvas. And it comes out naturally. It's just no pressure. It was pressure in the beginning, but now it's just so easy because I'm adapted to what I'm doing.
Have you encountered a lot of problems?
Yeah, there's a lot of frustration. which is good.
Obstacles?
Oh yes, there's a lot of problems. There was a lot of struggles.
Can you speak about one issue that you had and that you overcame?
Is that like during the painting process or outside experience, environmentally was?
More related to your painting.
I do get frustrated when the painting does not speak to me. I can go 2 days and paint and there'd be nothing on it. It'd be like just a solid white paint. Sometimes it doesn't come. But then there are days where it just comes out really nicely and it lasts I think one painting lasted 10 minutes. and it was a beautiful piece. So once you see something happening on the canvas and it turns out to be a masterpiece, I walk away from it. I don't touch it. I don't think about changing anything, because time from the beginning to end is what it is, and it comes out nicely.
You spoke to me about your paintings being a vision, a tool that will help people that don't have hearing impairments to understand people that can't hear.
Oh, absolutely. I consider my paintings a visual training, teaching tool. It helps people to see what the eye cannot see. That's why it's white, because I don't want you to see color. I want you to see body language. I want you to see form. I want you to see shape. And it's exactly what you see in everyday life when you're communicating with people. One-on-one, in a group, you're going to encounter some language that you're going to recognize because of my work. I think it's going to be very helpful, I think.
When you're in public and you're with a group of people, is that challenging at all?
It's very, very challenging.
Why is that challenging?
Well, say you're at a party and there's like 70 people, and it depends on the lighting. If the lighting is dark, I'm not going to see the person.
You're not going to be able to read the lips.
Lips, and that's important for me. I have to read lips. I have to see the person's face. But then it also depends on the sound, surrounding sounds. The louder it is around me, the more difficult it is to talk to one-on-one, and I have to concentrate more. I really focus. But I don't show that I have to really concentrate. I just relax and just socialize naturally. But sometimes I do have a lot of problems because I have to make the person say the same thing twice, and I feel bad about that. And
understandably so.
But you gotta continue to talk and hide that, I guess.
Hopefully they'll understand what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Do you feel the need to tell them that you're deaf?
Well, sometimes I don't. Sometimes it's necessary because you have different kinds of people who talk, how they talk. You have fast talkers, and you have like low talkers, and the low talkers I have a big troubles with because they don't open their mouth. Just, so how you doing? What's going on? Yeah, you hear that, right? Because they're so low. So I prefer if someone would speak louder, but they don't have to speak beyond loud. Just talk normal, like
Just make sure you pronounce your words.
Yeah, just make sure you pronounce your words, exactly.
Have you ever heard about the concept 10,000 hours?
I've heard about it, and I'm not sure if I reached 10,000, but it feels like that, doing 8 hours every day on my painting.
So for those out there that don't know what the 10,000 hour theory means, it's a concept that basically says that the more hours you put into something, the better you are at perfecting that skill. So the more hours you put into something, the more you could teach it.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
And you can master the skill. And have you perfected that skill?
Well, I've come a long ways. I've been doing it for 2 years, and I think it's near perfection, but there's still a lot more.
Always work to do.
There's always going to be a lot more. I mean, it never ends. There's always going to be more and more to it, because new ideas come with the painting, and so yeah. And so you have to do 10,000 hours if you want to perfect something.
Absolutely.
That's a must-do situation. If you're not doing that, then you're not really going to get that far.
Tell us about that time that you were in school and you had a presentation of your painting, and you had one of your color paintings up, which you weren't too proud about, and your teacher told you something that stuck to you that day.
Oh man, critiques in school can be really difficult because you have other students, they can say some stuff and they'll just open it up. And like my one professor, she opened up and she spoke to me and she said, Jamal, why don't you talk about what you're hearing, And
did you automatically understand? Did you automatically understand that?
Well, at first I didn't, because I didn't know how I could work with it. So it was it stuck to me though. After I graduated university, I wasn't really painting that much. But the idea stuck to me, what she said. And I kept thinking about it, And then, because I was still frustrated after 2 years, because I was still working with color, right? And so I just said, you know what, let's try something different. So took the white paint and just started, and I gotta thank her for that. She really helped me a lot, and if it wasn't for her, I don't think I'd be doing this. So I'm happy that she brought it up.
And what's your vision with all your paintings? What would you like to convey to the people purchasing your art?
Well, I just like each piece is personal. So when you look at each piece, it's not going to be the same feeling for everybody, you know. But there's different kinds of people out there, and I know a lot of people will like my paintings. There's a lot of artists I've worked with color, and I think I have a good shot. I stand out very well,
Definitely.
And so far so good. I've had a lot of good feedback, and
I love your
I have no
paintings.
reason to stop.
I love your paintings.
Well, thank you very
They
much.
really stand out.
Thank
If you go in a gallery and you look at all the paintings, and then you fall on Jamal's painting, you're like, wow, that's so different.
Yeah.
Who thought somebody could paint with white paintings? Who
Yeah.
thought somebody could make a shape, make 3D motions with it, make shadows with it?
Well, there were a few artists, to name a few. There's Robert Rauschenberg. Actually, he was a big inspiration for me because he did work with white painting. But his paintings were all about, it was about pureness. It was about, it was like kind of like a yoga kind of feel. You know, you meditate, it's deep meditation because you're focusing on something else rather than the color. And so I took his I took his word and I proceeded with it. And now mine speaks about that, but with action, emotion, and I wanted to challenge. I was afraid at first, but then I said to myself, no way, there's more to it than just white. There's more. It's got to be. And discoveries got me intrigued. You know, just to keep on going and see what else that what I can do. And so far, I've worked with 16, and they're all very different. And I'm impressed with what I'm doing so far.
Can you reproduce a painting?
You can't reproduce a painting. You can make the same image, but it won't look the same. It won't be as strong. That's why all paintings are different, and that's why all my paintings are each painting is unique, because it was personal for me, and it's also going to be personal for somebody else who looks at it. Not going to be the same, but it's going to be, people are going to love it.
Every painting has its own feeling.
Exactly.
Thank you again for watching. This was Jamal Michael DeJong. You could always go and check out his website. It's jamaldejong.com. We'll see you next time. This is Ambition Nation, a nation of dreamers, a nation of doers.